So you've decided you want to buy an investment property. You want to start investing in real estate. Good on you. It was Andrew Carnegie, Scottish businessman and philanthropist, who said 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. More money has been made in real estate than in all industrial investments combined. The wise young man or wage earner of today invests his money in real estate. That's great. But most new real estate investors fail. Hi, my name is Rob Lemotang, and I teach Foundations of Real Estate Investment. And I'm here to talk to you about learning the things that you don't know. Because as Socrates said, you don't know what you don't know. So a little bit about me. I'm a real estate investor since 2010. I'm a real estate mentor and trainer. I've taught creative financing and investment property courses for real estate education companies since 2016, and I've been a real estate coach and mentor since 2014. But I failed. I failed not once. I failed not twice. I failed 3 times buying investment real estate over a 20-year period because I didn't understand the basics. I did not know how to buy real estate property properly. I did not know how to evaluate property, and I did not know what I was doing. It took me that long until I went back to school in 2010 to learn some of the stuff that I didn't know that I didn't know. Because in life, there's stuff you know, and there's stuff you know you don't know. But there is a whole universe of stuff out there that you don't even know exists and you don't know that you don't know. So, why do new real estate investors fail? Well, to start with, the first and most basic problem is they don't understand their numbers. They don't know how to properly calculate their income and their expenses. They don't know how to use key indicators to determine whether a property is performing properly. They don't understand the basics of evaluating and property analysis. Because in life, as in real estate, it's very hard to win when you don't know the rules of the game. The second reason that real estate investors fail is that they make bad assumptions. It's not terribly difficult to figure out what the rent will be on a property. It's not terribly difficult to figure out what the property taxes, the insurance, and the utilities will be. Where real estate investors make bad assumptions is they don't assume that there will be vacancy, or they incorrectly assume how much vacancy there will be. They underestimate how much it's going to cost to manage the property, and they underfund maintenance. The other thing they do is they don't account for differences in interest rate when they renew their mortgages. You have to have contingencies in place to deal with these assumptions and understand what the actual cost of owning that property is going to be. The third reason that real estate investors fail is that they listen to their family and friends. Family and friends come in two types. There are those that want to protect you, and there are those that want you to succeed, but they want you to succeed in the way that they know. Each of them are sitting in their own comfort zones, and they don't want you to get out of their comfort zone because they're not able to help you if you are out of their comfort zone. Your family and your friends are trying to protect you from getting hurt. They don't want you to go into areas you don't understand yet. And even people who think they're trying to help you and understand real estate investment will give you advice like where to buy and what to buy without properly understanding the fundamentals of what you are trying to do. A very important reason that real estate investors fail is that they value appreciation over cash flow. Absolutely. Over time, real estate will appreciate in value and is a great long term investment. The problem with most investors is that they don't look at the short term costs of operating the property. If you lose money every month, how long can you sustain those losses before you can no longer afford to keep the property? Yes, appreciation is important, but I view appreciation as the bonus. Appreciation is what you get for owning and managing a well run property that cash flows positive. The fifth reason that real estate investors fail is that they want to buy pretty houses. Real estate investors have to learn that is not their primary residence. This is not where they are going to live. The pretty house on the block is the one that is going to be viewed and be desired, and the one that is going to carry a premium on the price tag. You have to look for different types of properties, properties that are off market, and properties that require a little bit of loving, a little bit of tender loving care, and some value add. The sixth reason why real estate investors fail is they limit themselves to their local market. They limit themselves to where they live. Where you live may be limited in the type of investment that you can do and still make money. I live in Ottawa, Ontario. The only investment that I've been able to get to cash flow positive in Ottawa, Ontario, is a rent to own. In order to find good cash flowing multifamily properties, I had to look outside of Ottawa, I had to look outside my province, and I had to look outside my country. Very important that real estate investors not limit themselves to their local market and understand that there's a big world out there. The next reason why real estate investors fail is that they don't know how to write offers. They don't realize that they need to include key conditions in those offers. Most people will tell you you don't have to worry about it because the real estate agent is going to write the offer for you. And that is true. But the real estate agent writes the offer in a way that you tell them to. You tell them what to put in the offer. So it's very important to have conditions for things like financing, income and expense verification, rent and lease verification, property viewing and inspections, insurance separate from financing, and approvals. Never listen to a real estate agent who tells you that your insurance a condition can be built into the financing condition because the bank will only give you financing if you have insurance. That is true, but you have to remove the financing condition when you get the commitment from the bank. And there are things that you still have to do before you can get the insurance on the property. You also need to understand the difference between open and closed conditions and how they affect your offer. Next, they don't understand what to do for due diligence. Due diligence is that period between the time you get the accepted offer and the time that you remove all your conditions on the property, on the offer. This is the time when you have to do your verification and review everything about the property to make sure that what has been presented to you is actually what you're buying. The key here is once you buy that property, anything that is wrong with the property becomes your problem. Once you close on that property, it is yours. You need to identify and correct or resolve any issues with the property, with the numbers, before you actually close on the property. And you do that analysis during the period of due diligence. The next problem that real estate investors have is that they don't understand credit. They don't understand how their credit score is calculated. They don't understand how their credit affects their ability to get funds and to close and buy a property. They also don't understand how private lenders and non-conventional lenders will use their credit in order to determine whether they'll lend them money. All of these are critical in your ability to finance your purchases. Critical to new real estate investors is that they don't know how to screen tenants. They don't understand the process of screening tenants. In many jurisdictions, once a tenant is in your property, it is difficult and expensive and time consuming to get a tenant out of your property. If they stop paying rent, it can be a long time where you will have no income while you are trying to evict them from the property. So you need to understand the tenant screening process. You need to understand what you need to do, and you need to be diligent in doing it. Real estate investors who do not screen tenants properly fail. Finally, New real estate investors don't know how to find or hire property managers. Real estate investors that are stuck in their local market always look at the fact that they are going to manage property themselves. What they fail to understand is that if they want to succeed as a real estate investor and move outside their local market, they are going to need a local property manager to represent them in the local market. That's where property management companies come in. And there is a process for finding and hiring a property manager. So, in conclusion, if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money very quickly buying real estate. If you want to invest in real estate, you need to learn the basics. And that's why I developed this course, Foundations of Real Estate Investment. In this course, we are going to go over different types of income properties. We are going to talk about the mindset of being an investor and the 10 commandments of investing. We're going to spend extensive amounts of time working numbers, working financial statements, understanding how you analyze and how you determine whether or not a property is going to be a good investment. We're going to look at key performance indicators. These are indicators that tell you whether or not a property is performing the way you want. We're going to talk about how to use other people's money in real estate investment. We're going to go through the process of analyzing markets and finding deals in markets and analyzing those deals. We're going to talk about the different forms, types of financial statements, actuals versus pro forma versus trailing 12 or trailing 3. We're actually going to write offers. We're going to prepare offers and we're going to go over conditions to put in your offers. We're going to talk about the financing process. We're going to talk about credit, how your credit score is calculated, what is on your credit report, and why it's important. We're also going to talk about how you work on repairing your credit if you have bad credit. We're going to go through the steps you need to follow in your due diligence period in order to verify that the property you're getting is the property you thought you were getting. And we're going to go through the process of closing on the deal. We're also going to talk a little bit about incorporating versus personal ownership. New real estate investors always wonder how they should hold their property. And finally, we're going to talk about tenant screening and what you have to go through and some of the key things you have to look at. We're going to talk about the differences between landlord and tenant insurance and why it's critical that your tenants have their own insurance policies. And we're going to talk about selecting a property manager. So by the end of this course, the student will understand a property income and expense statement. They're going to understand the difference between actual trailing 12 and pro forma financials. They're going to be able to run the numbers and assess deals quickly. They're going to be able to find potential deals. They're going to be able to write offers. They're going to understand financing. They're going to understand credit scores. They're going to know what's required for due diligence. They're going to know how to screen tenants. They're going to understand the difference between landlord and tenant insurance, and they're going to know how to find and select a property manager. Join me for Foundations of Real Estate Investment, and we'll work together to help you learn some of the things that you need to know.